Now, elsewhere, eyes will be on U.S. President Donald Trump as he is set to travel to Puerto Rico in light of the recent havoc inflicted on the Caribbean island by Hurricane Maria. In stocks news, investors are to keep an eye on the latest moves in defense and gun company stocks following the massacre in Las Vegas. And Procter & Gamble is set to hold a webcast to answer shareholder questions. The futures numbers there looking all green. Dow Jones Industrial average 0.12%, S&P 500 0.06%, and Nasdaq 0.06% up. And to the Asian markets now, shares traded mixed despite U.S. equities closing at record highs overnight. Japan's Nikkei 225 climbed 213.29 points, and the Topix index rose 10.84 points. Hong Kong's Hang Seng index resumed trading today after being shut on Monday. The HSI rose 2.3% to 28,193 points in afternoon trade. Singapore's Times index was down 0.52%, while India's Nifty 50 advanced 0.7%. In Australia, the ASX 200 fell behind its regional peers to close down 27.88 points. The Reserve Bank of Australia left its cash rate at record low of 1.5% for the 14th month straight. Well, back here in Nigeria, it's the first trading day of the new month at the fixed income market. Now let's talk to a dealer with Access Bank, Adedimeji Idris, to tell us how the market has started off in the new month. Good afternoon, Adedimeji. Thank you very much for joining us. Right, a new month, a new quarter. What is the sentiment like in the market today?
Okay, generally in the fixed income market, there's been a very bullish market. We've seen buying across all tenors on the T-bills and the bond side. So for the treasury bills, we've seen buying on the short to medium term. So especially the auction bonds, the bills that will be issued at the auction tomorrow. So the January and the April bills. So we've seen a lot of buying on those ones. Then on the FGM bond side as well, we've seen a lot of demand, especially on the long end of that curve. So the 2037 bond, the long end, we've seen a lot of demand. So it's been a generally bullish market.
Now looking into the new month, what is the outlook like? What should we be expecting?
Okay, for the fixed income market, on the treasury bill side is going to be determined largely by the liquidity of the money market. So this buying that we've seen today has been largely dictated by the FAC allocation and disbursement from last week. So that is what is driving the market today. And once the CBN comes to issue OMO and SMIS FX options, we will see that the buying will reduce and we'll see some sell-off, especially on the short end of those calls. But largely it's going to be determined by the liquidity in the market.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Adedimeji Idris, fixed income dealer with Access Bank. Now, it's now public knowledge that merchants and end users of point-of-sales terminals want to see newer features in the device-based online payment system. Re-echoing this concern at a meeting with Nigerian monetary authorities and ICT operators over the weekend, Dr. Salami, an economist with Lagos Business School, identified key features that must be modified.
There are a couple of things, and I have probably about 6, 7 of them, that I think payment systems, points of sale, will have to begin to address to make things easy or easier on both sides of that. It's still going to be the basic transaction. You bought something, I'm paying for it. But what else would I like to see? What else do I think might happen? I think POS will, going forward, have to figure out a way of addressing the following. First, I will develop a couple of these, but let me just outline them. How do we increase customer engagement? How do we increase our engagement with the customer? Is there anything that I link up to that helps me manage inventory? How does a POS, for me, and I'm not going to say terminal, a POS system, enhance customer engagement? Second, as I said, is there any way by which how I manage my inventory could potentially or actually be linked to the POS system? Because as I said, I'm paying for goods and services, and so goods are flying out, cash is flying in. Is there any way I am linking these back to my inventory, enterprise-wide perhaps? Is there any way that I can reduce transaction time? Is there any way that transaction times can be reduced? Is there any way that I can create a more intimate, much closer relationship with the customer that makes the customer feel valued?
And in Uganda, the central bank has lowered its key lending rate to 9.5%, saying the reduction from 10% will boost private sector credit growth and strengthen economic growth momentum. Bank of Uganda governor said that core inflation was seen remaining on target at 5%, but said that risks might come from poor food harvest due to pests and poor rains. And rating agency Moody's has placed Kenya's B1 rating on review for downgrade. The rating agency says it expects Kenya's government debt burden to continue to rise due to persistently high primary deficit and borrowing costs. According to Moody's, the decision to place Kenya's rating on review for downgrade was partly prompted by uncertainties weighing over future direction of policies, also due to government liquidity pressures risk rising in the face of increasingly large financing needs. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll look at the global oil market. Do stay with us.